All right, good morning, everyone. This is progress meeting number 10. It's the Dunham and Smith Mobile Home Sewer and Water Extension Project. We're just about halfway. We used 294 days out of 306, out of 630, leaves 306 days. So just about the halfway point. Percent complete of the work is an estimate based on billings, and we're about 25%. So we still have that lag behind, mostly due to that late start. I'm sure everyone recalls, we didn't really get started in earnest till May sometime, and the project started. The notice to proceed date was in February. So once the project, now that it has started, it seems like we're keeping pace, and I still feel like there's sufficient time in the schedule to get it complete by the completion date of next November. There is a schedule that's attached to the end of the meeting minutes, and I'm going to ask Johnny, I'm going to ask you to revise that for the next meeting, because I know some things have changed. So we'll get a revised schedule, and we'll go over the work now that was completed in the last month. It was a big milestone, I think, for the project in the last month, which was all the water and sewer services were connected in Cooper Circle. It'll be 20 of them, 13 to lots that have units on them now, and 7 to the empty lots. So there's now 13 people that are connected now to the Lewes Board of Public Works water and sewer system. And I feel like that's a big milestone for the project, and certainly a nice thing for the people that have been connected. Good point to me, at least, about that work is it went fairly well. We always expect to find things that, remember, we've talked in the past, there were no real drawings that the owner of the facility had. So with that, you expect to find some unknowns, and things went pretty well in that regard, in that work of the 20 connections. I think also in the last month, he cleaned up that stockpile area, staging area a bit. So work to be completed in next month. Teal's sewer crew will be back tomorrow, I believe. Right. And they'll be starting on the sanitary sewer work in Grandview Avenue. And I guess where would you go from there, Johnny?
So the thought process is we don't have any well pointing done on Grandview. We are attempting to do without well pointing. We think we can do that. If we run into an issue, they will then move to Seneca, which is where the well points are set up now.
Seneca is the next street over. And everyone knows that, so the development, you're kind of going downhill as you go in. So that means the elevation and the sewer's coming up as you go in that direction. So the depth of the excavation will be less there, and contractor believes he won't need the well points when he gets. Correct. Well, you're going to try, actually.
We're trying without it. Yep.
So I don't know how many of you've seen the well points, the pipes along the side of the road that draws the water down so they could do the installation. They're going to try to eliminate that now that they're getting further along. The sewer's coming up not as deep, and hopefully not be in the groundwater table. Is there any other work you think you might do? I know we had talked, possibility of getting in and doing some road restoration in Cooper Circle now that that's buttoned up. That's still on the table.
It's still on the table. I'm not sure when or if we can get it before we break for the year.
Right.
Keep in mind, we break from December 22nd to January 2nd. So it's still on the table today. Potential for trying to get some of that restoration done in Cooper Circle. I'm just not 100% sure if it's going to happen before we break or not.
Yeah. It's not the best time of the year to do paving work, but I think you would like to, if you could, if weather permitted, get in and restore the roads in Cooper Circle and at least get the base asphalt paving down. So that may or may not happen in the coming months.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure if we get it done before the end of this month, but if temperatures allow in January, we could be in there doing that.
Gotcha. Okay. That's so pretty much sanitary sewer for the
rest of this month, yeah.
Yep. SRF funding, we had conducted wage rates back in August, wage rate interviews. I don't expect unless you require, otherwise we were going to do them at the end of the job, and we're just kind of following what we've done on some past projects.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, just try to, if you can, make it when there's more people on the site. I mean, not like the very end where.
Gotcha.
Like towards the end, like 20% or so. Gotcha.
Right. You don't want us to do it in the street.
Yeah.
Workers out
yeah,
there. You want the certified payrolls have been coming in on a regular weekly basis. GMB's been reviewing them, and to date, all has been fine in that regard. Payments, there have been 7 payment applications submitted, and I believe they've been paid. All 7 have been paid. DelDOT items are really, now that we're inside the development, there really aren't any DelDOT items to discuss. I mean, at the end of the job, we'll be back in DelDOT right away when we do the final paving of Donovan's Road. Just a reminder to contact Miss Utility 48 hours in advance. We tried, Dwayne tries his best to give everyone as much heads up as possible. I think we've been doing a pretty good job of that. Dwayne, I know you said you went out several days ago and let everyone know when the crew's coming back on and getting started, so. Again, just a reminder, if there are any questions or complaints, et cetera, go to Dwayne. I think everyone in development now, by now knows Dwayne, knows his number, et cetera. And I think maybe everyone also knows that, there has been a fair amount of the contractor running into the water lines and, temporarily disrupting the water services. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. Again, being the fact we don't have any drawings, and but I think Teal and Tony have been very responsive in getting the water back on when that does occur. RFIs, we've worked with Teal enough that they know any requests for information on the project or issues that come up need to come to me in writing. Safety, as far as I know, there have been no incidents, which is great. We want to always keep it that way. We remind the contractor at every meeting, safety is the sole responsibility of the contractor, and he needs to abide by all local, state, federal safety requirements. Johnny, I think we're up to date with submittals, at least until maybe we get to the paving. I don't know that I've gotten
I haven't submitted.
submittals on the paving. Same thing on survey, stakeout. I think we've gotten all the cut sheets for the project. Job site conditions, resident complaints. I know of one complaint Dwayne told me about, and I think I talked to Robin a little bit about it. Someone who was connected to the new water system had a complaint about aerated water and chlorine taste in the water. And I think both Robin and Dwayne have talked to him. So the aerated water is, given the fact that it's new system. That section on Cooper has not been looped in, so it's pressurized. If there's air in that line with the pressure, that air will go in the solution, much like when you open a soda and whatever, and it makes it a little cloudy looking. So that is not a concern health wise or anything like that. It's just if you let it sit there, the air will come out a solution. And the chlorine taste, I don't know what to say about that other than what's been said. It's probably a situation where you're going from non-chlorinated water to now water that is chlorinated. Inspector hours since the last project meeting, 93 in total, were 865 hours and 2,635 hours remain. There were no weather delays that I'm aware of in the last month. Trench backfill, Johnny, just a reminder, we want to try to reutilize as much as the material as possible on site, minimize any imported. The material to date has been excellent. The material that's coming out of pipe to date has been excellent. We haven't had to use much imported material at all, which is great. Contingency items, we're doing well on contingency items. There were no contingency items used in the water service and sewer lateral connection work. So the totals are there for each of those contingency items. Again, just a reminder about as-bills, so we don't get to the end of the job and everybody's saying, hey, where are the red lines, or we missed something, or what have you. So change orders. So there's now, I just drafted 2 change orders. The one change order, which is change order number 1, which is $338 per water service. That's for the fact that we needed to add a backflow check valve, dual check valve backflow preventer, and kind of reconfigure the valve box for the connection of the water service to the mobile homes. That was an oversight, or I guess something that was missed. There's 2 master, what we call master meters for the development at Cooper Circle and Central Avenue, which keeps track of the water that goes in and out of the community for billing purposes. And there's a backflow preventer there, but we didn't realize that each home didn't have a backflow preventer, and to prevent cross contamination from one home to another, we needed to add that. So that's a $338 per unit. There's 99 units, so it's a change order in the amount of $33,471.90. And then there's a second change order, which is the original contract only called for connections at the lots that have mobile homes presently there. And so we've added 31 connections now, service connections, to bring the total to 130. Austin, Earl was asking before the meeting if the 130.
It's always been, that's the original amount. But it was in the MIU, it's the number that was benchmarked for the discussions related to how it was gonna be zoned.
So I didn't have any specific discussion items other than the ones we've talked about so far. So with that, we can go around the room and see if anyone has any questions or items that they wish to discuss. Robin, why don't we start with you over there? We'll go.
Nope, no good.
Earl.
So I just want to make sure I've got this right. So the 13 water services that are connected and the sewers, those are up and operational.
Yes.
So the other 13 that are on empty lots, they're the same area, but obviously there's nothing on those lots today.
7,
There's
right?
7, 13 and 7, 13 on lots that have units on, 13 units are connected. The 7 are empty lots. What was left was
That's for water, right?
water and sewer. So what on those empty lots, what they're getting is a point of connection on the water side, they're getting a box that has a valve. This is after the curb stop. So you got water main in the road.
Yeah.
Come off with a service and a curb stop. 5 feet from the curb stop is a little buried box that has a valve. It has the dual check backflow preventer. It has a T and it has a plug. And then it has a point for the resident to connect to if and when a unit goes on it.
Okay. Good. I'm good. Fine.
Yep. Austin, Johnny.
So I've heard about a complaint about the roads being flooded. Would that have anything to do with the project that's going on?
Yes, so I talked to Tony about that as well over there. So on the backside of Forest where you're stacking the soil. That road, when it rains, there's about a 40-foot puddle that forms. I don't know if you can push a little bit off. The road's pretty uneven there. You're gonna puddle a little, but when it freezes, like we had that cold weather, that was just a solid sheet of ice. There's probably 2 homes that can't walk out of their homes to get to the cars without walking on it. So it certainly is a safety issue. So if they could just grade it a little, so it drains a little better, it'd probably solve the problem for now.
We had no equipment in there and we had dressed it. And yesterday they brought a machine in and we did cut a swale. So, and the water did drain off that road.
Yeah, I was down there this morning, it was much better.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Keith,
Can I just get a copy of the minutes regularly? I haven't been getting them. I don't know why, but, yeah.
Janet?
Nothing?
Back to the flooding issue, Central Avenue is horrible when it floods, when it rains.
And now they put the pump in and they made a little bit of a mogul. Is that gonna add to Lake Donovan? You know what I'm talking about?
There has to be an issue with the under drain system and I don't know where it goes to.
Probably in our septic because they pump it out every day.
Well, but I don't think the storm drain goes to your septic,
No.
but
But
the,
the water,
I understand,
all the way
but
back.
it's not flowing out through the storm water. So it does go across to the back and it does, I understand it does fill up that tank.
Could you, if you think about it, just have them, dump like a pile of dirt across at the edge of the road, so when the lake fills up, it doesn't flow underneath our trailer. Cause I put a level on my cabinet and it tilts to the side where the water runs through all the time.
It goes back to the shed.
Yeah,
Our shed's
we have a
flooded.
lake around the shed from that front.
Yes, that's, there's a low point
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
drains the water that way. If I do put there, it's gonna make that whole intersection.
It is, it goes all the way back to where you have your equipment.
It's gonna get worse though. It's gonna go back towards Seneca. It's gonna be, instead of just the water going across your yard, which I'm sorry that happens, but if it's gonna go all the way down Seneca and it's gonna flood all those houses in the front there. So that's right now, that's the least amount of area we're gonna affect if it runs back through your yard. I'm sorry that happens, but
what unit are you?
We're F5.
F5?
I was gonna bring the pictures to show you what it
Yeah, I have
looks like.
pictures of it where he's saying about all the way to Seneca. It's past Seneca
It's
the other
past
day.
Seneca already.
It's already up past our driveway and up the road.
But I'm saying the water's gonna back up and go out Seneca. It's not, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger if it can't escape to go back through your yard. If I put a load of dirt there, that's just gonna it's gonna compound the problem.
It'll stop it from coming through the yard.
It'll stop it coming from your yard, but it's gonna compound the rest of the project.
Okay.
Is this a new problem or is this?
Yes, this is new. It always did flood there, but nothing like this.
Yeah,
I mean, your cones that are there, you can't see the bottom of the cone. So that's how deep the water is. I want to put up a no wait zone. Because
Yeah.
when the cars go flying through there, that's what I mean, literally, it's waves coming
yeah,
in
you
our
actually watch
yard.
the water just flow like a wave into
It's
the yard.
crazy.
I have to look at
I'm
it.
gonna go out, we'll go out and take a look at it.
Yeah, cause the drain's not drained. I think they put something over top of it
Yeah, they
to
did.
keep all the mud from going into the drain. And now it must
Ever
have
since
sealed it
then,
off.
it's been, nothing goes down that drain.
We have inlet for protection that we're required to put in there. And even if we took the bag out and we still had to pump the water because it was not
Draining.
draining. So yes, the bags do help create the problem. But when we took the bags out, we still had to pump it down, physically pump it and run it back through your yard. So we could get rid of the water so it could work there.
So the pump that's out there and the drain that's going by our house,
Well,
is that gonna,
That's only for the groundwater, for the well
so
points.
that'll help pump the groundwater out?
Yes, that has nothing to do with the surface water.
right.
So we'll take a look, I'll take a look at it. I mean, I guess I'm not fully, understanding of where your lot is or whatever.
We took pictures. We'll show them to you.
It's just, I guess sitting here, I'm just wondering why it's happening now, and how this project impacted the drainage such that it would be happening now versus, pre-existing.
Well, you said it was happening before this, it just wasn't as bad, correct?
Right, we had puddles, I mean, it was pretty, quick, we're right there in that hollow. But now it's just nothing but mud.
The water's not
and
draining out when it
nothing
pours and
Draining,
it just flows.
We'll take a look at it.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Have one online. Now that you removed the speed bumps on Grandview, there's a speeding issue. They're requesting to put some slow down signs up.
That won't do any good.
Forget that, no.
Waste of time. But they just totally ignored, slow down, children playing. They have this is not a racetrack. I mean, that part's useless.
It's the same as Donovan Road, I believe.
Yeah, they don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Donovan Road, I don't know who patrols Donovan Road, but the sign was knocked down again, the 25-mile-an-hour sign. It's not there anymore, even though I called DelDOT. But it doesn't make any difference. They turn off of Savannah Road and fly.
Yeah.
Like Zoom.
I mean, I could talk to the board if they want us to install temporary speed bumps. I don't know how significant the problem is, but I'll talk to the board about, Johnny, we can get a load of asphalt in there and put temporary, maybe even cold patch. I don't know if that'll.
That's something we can legally do. Those speed bumps in.
They're private roads. They're not city roads.
Speed bumps.
It has them now and the plan calls for permanent.
From that.
But these would be temporary. Anyone else? All right, the next meeting is January 3rd, 2024, 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you that I have water and sewer.
Yeah.
But I am the one that's getting me. I turn on the hot water heater and it's like, or turn on the hot water and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like, so.
Pressure.
The pressure, yeah. And I,
That's-
put a wash rag up now, turn the hot water. heater.